Hello, everyone, and welcome to Work from Your Happy Place. I'm really excited for our show today. We've got a little bit different experience for you. We're going to be doing a panel today with 3 authors, and their new book, The Truth About Success, is a book collaboration by 25 women from Canada, the United States, Australia, South Africa, Singapore, and Poland. The success stories in this book range from overcoming loss and heartache to finding and stepping into your authentic self, single motherhood and parenting with a deployed spouse, to healing through medical trauma and a scary diagnosis. From coaches to stay-at-home moms to medical professionals, PhD holders, and beyond, the words of these authors will make you laugh, cry, and most importantly, inspire you to believe that you were made for more. The Truth About Success book has already hit number 1 in 15 different categories with Amazon. So today we have 3 of the featured authors with us. We have Meggan Larson. Meggan is a course creator, AFT Certified Success Coach, and a best-selling published author who is passionate about helping women entrepreneurs find their voices and live the life of their dreams. I have Tobi Feldman with me today, and Tobi is an entrepreneur, AFT certified ULA life balance coach, speech language pathologist, and now a published author living in Ithaca, New York. She is passionate about supporting women that are raising older children with executive function and mental health challenges. We also have Lauren de Silva with us today. Lauren is a wife, mother, writer, entrepreneur, and empath, obsessed with learning as much as she can about the world and the people who live in it. She is a South African living in Waco, Texas, and spends her free time creating or enjoying the outdoors. She dreams of a world where diversity is celebrated, where all who live in it feel safe and connected, and where we would choose to turn toward one another and the messes we make in love rather than fear. It is my pleasure to welcome these 3 ladies to my show today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us. It's such a pleasure to be here.
So grateful to be here.
Great. Well, ladies, let's just dive in. Why don't we start with, we'll get to know a little bit about each of you a little bit more, so sort of fill in the gaps of your bio. And why don't we start with Meggan? So Meggan, why don't you just tell us a little bit more about yourself and what exactly is it that you're doing for people today?
Sure, I would love to do that. So my name is Meggan Larson, and as I had said, I am an entrepreneur, and right now I'm really focused on helping other women entrepreneurs improve their writing ability, be able to believe in themselves to the point where they know that their story is worth sharing and that they have value in and of themselves and that they can change the world just by being exactly who they were created to be. So that is really my main focus right now, is just creating courses around helping women be able to write their stories and publish their stories. And I am also working on another collaboration that will bring a bunch of women together to write another book. So I'm really excited about these things.
Great. And so what were you doing that led you to this? What's your background?
My background is I was attempting to be an entrepreneur for 13 years, and that came with mostly failure. I was, told to read scripts and cold call and, buy leads and all the things that, typically you're told to do when it comes to starting out in business and, working a multi-level marketing, anything. And so my background really was a lot of failure. And it wasn't until this time last year when I connected with a different mentor who believed in me when I didn't even believe in myself, and really just helped me to see that I had value in and of myself. And so I could actually create things that people would pay for. And I'm still a little bit in shock, I feel like, but she walked me through all the steps on how to do everything I'm doing now. So I really can't even take credit for it, but it is good to know that anyone can do what I'm doing. I promise you that.
It is tough, though, finding the right coaches. People take tons of courses, and there's lots out there that aren't necessarily relevant or even work because there's so many courses out there. and it's hard to sort of find what really works. What's your advice in finding that right mentor or right business coach?
I am very picky, I guess is the right word, because I had already spent $30,000 on my business education, on different gurus, on trying to find someone who would teach me what worked. And the reason why I went with this mentor, and the reason why I actually tell everyone that they should go with her name is Martha Krejci, for everyone who doesn't know who I'm talking about. And the reason why I believe that the way she teaches is so profound is because she teaches everyone to work within their own passions and to show up and use the things that have shaped their lives, like the traumas and the things that they've gone through, use that to reach back into the fire and pull other people out. And so everyone who works with her is sharing and serving from a place that they know really, really well. And it looks different for everyone. So I would avoid people who tell you that there's one size fits all and that the same thing will work for everyone, because that's not the case. And you should be able to be uniquely you as you run your business. Otherwise, it's just not going to work. It's not going to be authentic.
Great. So, Tobi, why don't you give us a little bit of information about your journey, and then what specifically you're doing to help women today?
Sure, I would be happy to. I am a mom of three. They're now 21, 18, and 14. And we have been through some heavy stuff. And so for me, I hit bottom, not once, a couple of times, physically and emotionally, and really had to work on finding my way back. And my chapter in the book talks a lot about pivoting and working through trauma response and the things that I learned along the way until I found my direction to where I am now. I have learned so much. My passion now is really supporting the moms that are in the thick of that space of where I was, dealing with raising teens and young adults that are struggling with their executive functioning and therefore their mental health, their relationships, their emotions, with school. This last year has been really hard on kids. Anxiety and depression is up. Mm-hmm. And really helping the women to do their deep work, to find their self-love and compassion, to develop sustainable, radical self-care and life balance so that they're able to manage raising these kids. And it's become a real mission for me to help not just the mamas, but the parents, educators, other adults that are supporting these kids to understand what executive functioning is and how it interplays with mental health so that they can best support them.
Wow. This year has been a tough year, and I don't think we're even aware of all the ramifications of what this last year and a half has really done on people's mental health and how that's going to play out even for social skills for little kids, that don't even have, I think people think, oh, they're little, it doesn't matter, or they're this. And it's been a tough year. I mean, I've got grandkids that are little and they're doing online schooling, but then they're in school some of the time, but then they close the school. So, and it's having friends, and how do you go to a birthday party? Like, they're all the things that little ones would experience and that would help them with their social skills. And then I also have a teenager who's in high school, and it's been a roller coaster with her as well.
Yeah, I think we're going to see an unfolding as things return. I think we're going to be seeing things shifting and learning more as we go. It's definitely taken a toll on all ages. I think we have a lot yet to see.
And a lot to learn for sure.
Yeah.
So great. Lauren, tell us a little bit about yourself, your journey, and a little bit more. You can tell us about what that chapter focuses on or what you're doing to help women today.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Well, I am a life and boundaries coach, and I help women who primarily identify as people pleasers or recovering people pleasers, but also really, I guess, compassionate, kind-hearted, and servant-hearted women leverage their compassion and their servant-heartedness and their love for others, and leverage that as a strength in the boundary setting process. And really with the end goal of helping women who start out really wanting to serve and love and care for the people in their lives and the world around them. But because of poor boundaries or lack of understanding of how important they are, become really resentful and bitter towards those very same people that they started off trying to love and care for. And so the idea or the goal really is to help women take control of their lives, to steward their passions and their compassion for others in a way that really helps them and protects them as well. And my background is in full-time Christian ministry. I spent nearly 10 years working at a local church in South Africa. When we moved to the States, I spent 2 years working at a local nonprofit, and then started a stint in postgrad, starting my master's degree in social work and seminary, a dual master's degree, but fell pregnant with my third child and just decided to take an indefinite sabbatical. With my older two, I didn't feel like I had a choice but to continue working through their infancy and early childhood. But with my youngest, we were in a position for one of the first times where I could really make that decision based on what my values were and what kind of life I wanted, not whether or not I would be able to eat at the end of the day. And so I just decided to honor my, I guess, desire for family life by staying home with her, and have since then started my coaching practice, written a book, contributed to one or two others, and I get to do this and spend time with my family in a way that feels consistent with what I value as well.
That's great.
Lucky.
What's the gap between the older children and your youngest?
6 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So I thought I was home clear when it came to sleeping through the night and not paying for diapers anymore. Turns out we've relapsed, and what started as a big surprise and almost felt like a detour turned into one of our families and my life's greatest blessings.
It is so true. And I did this on purpose. So this wasn't a like, oh my gosh, oops. But there are 20 years between my two older children and my youngest. And I stressed over that, like making the decision to do that, to restart a family. And it has definitely been one of my most difficult decisions, and then resulted in the absolute greatest joy of my life. So I think sometimes with those difficult decisions does come those greatest joys, or some of those greatest obstacles become our greatest outcomes.
I agree 100%. And that we're on the fence about a third child, but ended up just, there she was, and or she came along, and I was in a bit of turmoil for a minute, but in the end, we're so lucky that life worked out the way it did.
Oh, that's great. So ladies, here's what I want to ask each of you. So we all have certain skill sets or superpowers that really help contribute to your overall success. What's kind of carried you through these years? And so I'm just going to take all three of you, because I think there's a couple questions in here, some that I'll ask some of you, others that I'll ask other ones, but this is one that I love to hear from people on what they feel sort of their superpower is that has helped contribute to their success. So I'm going to start with Tobi. So Tobi, would you like to share a couple of your superpowers?
So my superpowers, I always refer to my organizational skills